Welcome into Phillies Daily. I know I'm wearing a Eagles hat, but it's always go Birds around these parts. Go Birds! Super Bowl champions. They're going to whoop some Dallas Cowboy butt in week 1 at the link. Why the Eagles get to raise a Super Bowl banner in front of their hated division rivals. But anyway, let's get back to what we're all here for. I'm Mike Hennelly. This is Phillies Daily. Make sure to subscribe for more Phillies content. Let's get this thing rolling today. So the Phillies, unfortunately, they started a series against the St. Louis Cardinals last night on Monday. Unfortunately for them, they dropped the series opener in a 3-2 ball game, a one-run ball game. The Phillies have been pretty good in these close games recently, but they did drop a game to a hot Cardinals team. The Cardinals are now winners of 9 straight. The Phillies will not be playing today on Tuesday. They got postponed at Citizen Bank Park due to rain. They are set to have a day-night split doubleheader tomorrow on Wednesday against the Cardinals to wrap up the series. We will see if that actually takes place. There is supposed to be rain in the forecast for tomorrow in the area, but it's looking like it's earlier in the day, so they might be fine, but we'll see how that holds up. But anyway, the Phillies dropped that game, the series opener to the Cardinals last night. Unfortunately, they did miss out on some opportunities to score, to win that ball game. They had just 9 hits and 2 runs. 9 hits isn't horrible, so the fact that they did have 9 hits isn't terrible, but they only were able to push 2 runs across the plate. Not enough to win in this day and age in Major League Baseball. They left 8 runners on base in that loss, including a 1-for-7 performance with runners in scoring position. You're just not going to win ball games if you can't come up clutch, if you can't get that big hit when the runners are right there for that to happen. The Phillies couldn't get it done yesterday. They're not going to be able to get it done every game. So unfortunately, it was a tough loss, close loss to start that series. But lucky for them, it's still a long season. Maybe unlucky for them, they can't get right back out there the next day. Like I said, postponed tonight for Game 2. Day-night doubleheader tomorrow on Wednesday. They got to bring the juice and play tough because those day-night doubleheaders are not easy. It's a long day on them. Hopefully they're on their A game. They get a win. Hopefully they win both those games and come out with another series win. Another reason that they did lose last night, I'm not going to say it was all his fault, but Matt Strahm, the Phillies 2024 All-Star reliever, along with former Philadelphia Philly Jeff Hoffman. Matt Strahm's one of the most reliable relievers in the game. He's definitely the most reliable in the Phillies bullpen. There are other guys having a pretty good season for them, but Matt Strahm, he is very reliable as a southpaw for the Phillies. Unfortunately for Strahm, he came in the 7th inning in a tied game at 2. He got the first 2 outs. So they're like, all right, maybe he'll get out of it. Just like Matt Strahm usually does, gets out of a situation, passes it over to the next guy, gives his team a chance. Unfortunately, that third batter came up, and he allowed the go-ahead and eventual game-winning solo home run. Made it a 3-2 ball game. He knew it right off the bat. You could tell by his reaction after it came off of the bat and started sailing towards left field. It was actually the first home run Matt Strahm has allowed in 2025, so just not really like Matt Strahm. Tough game for him, I guess. He'll bounce back. Like I said, he's one of the more reliable pitchers for the Phillies, especially relievers, one of the best in the game. Matt Strahm, I got no doubt that you will bounce back in your next appearance. Just a rough one out there for him. Only the 1 home run, but still, you don't like to see that, especially, like I said, it was his first one he let up this year. He's been pretty good in that category. He had a 2.87 ERA going into yesterday's ball game, sub 3, really good. It's now up to 3.24, also pretty good, but still, unlike Strahm, he's a guy that can and has done it before, had a lower ERA, a sub 3, sub 2. He is one of the best out there. He'll bounce back. Just a very uncharacteristic performance from Strahm. On the other hand, the Cardinals have a reliever, in fact, a closer by the name of Ryan Helsley. He is in the middle of trade rumors, especially when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies. It's no doubt, no question that the Phillies have some bullpen issues so far in 2025. Every team can always use more bullpen help no matter who you are, no matter where you're at in the standings. Every team's going to need bullpen help. The Phillies are no different. Ryan Helsley of the St. Louis Cardinals has been linked to the Phillies time and time again about a possible trade partner, trade destination by the time the trade deadline rolls around. He is one of the best closers in the game. The Phillies did get to see him up close and personal last night in that 3-2 loss to the Cardinals. Ryan Helsley came in for the save in the ninth inning. He struck out two Phillies batters, threw just 13 pitches, and recorded the save. He is a 30-year-old right-handed pitcher. He's a two-time All-Star, one in 2022 and one last year in 2024. He led all of Major League Baseball in saves last year with 49 saves, an impressive 49 saves. His fastball can reach 100 miles per hour. He's got a nasty slider. We saw both of those pitches last night. He also mixes in a curveball and a cutter. Doesn't throw them too often, but when he does, it's just a nice change of pace for him. It works for him. It's tough to hit off a guy like that with that type of stuff, especially late in the game like that. The Phillies saw it, like I said, up close and personal last night in their 3-2 loss to the Cardinals. Ryan Helsley now has a 3.00 ERA with 8 saves and 10 save opportunities this year. He's going to be a free agent after 2025, so maybe that could affect. If the Cardinals do decide to trade him, they may not. As of last night, they were second in the NL Central. They're right up there. They are playoff contenders. It's still very early in the season, but if they decide to trade him by the time the trade deadline rolls around, they might not get as much as they would hope just because of the fact he's a free agent after the season. They're still going to bring some value just because of how good he is and what he can do for a team. So the Phillies could have to part with one of their top prospects if they were to make a trade. Someone maybe like Mick Abel. He's the Phillies' number 8 prospect by MLB Pipeline. As last time I looked, he had a horrible season last year, but he bounced back and he's doing pretty good in 2025. So a guy like that, maybe another lower-level prospect could get a deal done. We'll see. Like I said, the Cardinals are really good this year right now. Obviously, they're hot, 9-game winning streak, right there with the best of them. So they might hang on to their closer. They would definitely need him. So we'll see as the season goes on. Another thing that the Phillies could look at later on in the season is a potential another bench option. The Phillies bench kind of has some question marks around it. It had some question marks coming into the season of who was going to take that final bench spot, mostly between Weston Wilson, Cody Clemens, Cal Stevenson, and Buddy Kennedy were in that. But the Phillies ended up trading Cody Clemens because they had no room for him. Weston Wilson was coming back from injury. They traded him to the Twins, so they pretty much were set with Weston Wilson. They have Edmundo Sosa has been really good, one of the better bench players in MLB. He is still making the most of his opportunities when he gets them. He was 1 for 2 in a start last night against the Cardinals with an RBI single. He started at second, was replaced by Bryson Stott later on in the game. He's got a .340 batting average to this point in 2025, which is very impressive, especially for a guy that doesn't get a lot of opportunities. It's hard to stay in a groove at the plate, but Edmundo Sosa is making the most out of his opportunities, and it's great to see. Weston Wilson, like I said, he really hasn't had that many opportunities this year since he came back from injury. He hasn't been back long, but he's a super utility guy. He can pretty much play anywhere on the field. He was expected to be one of the Phillies' top bench players, like I said, this year, but he got hurt in spring training, which set him back a few weeks. He made his debut in 2025 back on April 23rd. He's appeared in just 6 games this year, but he's got a .250 batting average, is 3 for 12. He has 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and he struck out 4 times. Not really the production that you'd like to see out of him, especially for what he's done last year and the year before in his opportunities. But like I said, only 12 at-bats. Hasn't really had that many opportunities. It's hard to get into a groove, like I said, as a guy who doesn't really get out there often. So it's not necessarily time to worry about the bench. I'm not going to say that it's a major issue, but if he doesn't really heat up at the plate and make the most out of opportunities, Rafael Marchand's another guy on the bench who's the backup catcher behind JT Realmuto. He's had no offensive production this year. Obviously, we know Garrett Stubbs, who's down in the minors, hasn't really had any offensive production when he's up with the big league club. And other guys in the outfield, the rotation between Max Kepler, Johan Rojas, and Brandon Marsh, they're very streaky players, to say the least. They've all had their ups. They've had some downs this year. So whoever's not starting out there, obviously the other guys are on the bench. streaky guys. Weston Wilson not doing great right now. Sosa, they can't really just rely on Sosa as their only bench option moving forward into the season, especially as we get into the playoffs time of the year. So maybe by the time, like I said, when the trade deadline rolls around, when they could be considering a guy like Ryan Helsley as a closer, as a late inning reliever, they could also look into some bench help if this doesn't improve as the season goes on. I'm not saying it's a big deal right now, but it could be. It's something to look out for as the season progresses. Hopefully, they prove me wrong. Hopefully, the guys on the bench like Rustin Wilson, Edmundo Sosa stays hot. Rafael Marchand turns it around and turns into a solid backup for them. But we'll see. Only time will tell. That's all we can do. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this. We'll keep bringing you Phillies content. We'll keep getting better. Hopefully, the Phillies get out there tomorrow. They get those 2 wins against the Cardinals in the doubleheader. They come away with another series win. Go Birds. Go Phils. See you guys next time.